Hey guys, you're watching Team APS. I'm with Alec. We're getting a deck profile today. It's a fun deck he's had for a while. What deck is this?
This is Aromages.
All right.
I had it for quite a while, but it took me a long time to get the build I wanted, my most optimal build.
It's the deck that hasn't gotten any support
Yes, since its original
since.
release.
That's okay. Let's see what this is about.
All right. Well, I gotta give you the rundown. First thing you know about the deck is it's built to be anti-meta because, well, if you don't build to be anti-meta, the meta is gonna crush it. Like, it doesn't compete otherwise. And I'm not saying it's competitive, but I'm just saying if you want to stand a chance, you have to build an anti-meta. And my goal with this deck was to stop the meta and draw a lot. And you'll see when I show the deck. So let's get it on. All right. First, Jasmine. She's the one that lets you draw when you gain life points. And when you have more life points, you can even summon another plant type monster. It doesn't matter what type of plant it is. You can just normal summon it. So even if it's a tribute, you can immediately tribute a new plant monster out if you have more life points than your opponent. She's great. Her effect can stack if you have multiples on the field. So if you gain life points with 2, you draw 2. If you gain life points with 3, you draw 3. So if you can, you want to have multiple over on the field. The problem with her, and which is one reason why she can't stand up in competitive play, that 100 attack and 1900 defense, you would think 1900 would let you survive, but not in the current state of the game. That's not going to last any time on the field. Your opponent will deal with it. So if I were you, I wouldn't even bother putting in defensive mode, and I hope it don't swing into it. Just play in attack mode, get your draw off quick, because she'll probably be dead by next turn anyway. Triple Kananga. Now, if you're some people say maybe 2 or 1. I run her at 3 mainly because there aren't that many Aromages, and I kind of want to I want to be able to get into an Aromage and use some type of effect. And she has two really decent effects. If you have more life points than your opponent, she cuts their attack by 500 attack, or their attack and defense by 500. So she allows you to get over some more difficult monsters. And when you gain, you can bounce on their spell or traps off the field. So if you're playing a trap-heavy deck, or if you're trying to do something weird to their pendulum situation, you can use her effect on your opponent or your turn, depending on when you do gain, to bounce the stuff off the field. It's not bad. Next up, a lot of people's favorite, Rosemary. She, 1800 beater. Well, also in this state of the game, an 1800 beater is not going to take you very far. But I don't know, her effect isn't the greatest in the deck. What she does is that I'm blanking her real quick, but she switches monsters' positions. So when you gain, you can switch any face-up monster on the field to attack or to defense, but it's mandatory. So if she's the only monster on the field and you gain life points, you have to switch her. You don't have a whole lot of say in it. So she's weird to use. She's gotten out of some tough spots with that effect. She hasn't really changed the game or anything. A lot of times you'll be using her to put Jasmine in defense. She can get pretty high with the boost that the boost she can get. So she's a solid card. She'll do good. And I run only 1 Bergamot, 6 stars. So if you run too many, she'll clog you. Well, some people say it's a he. I still call it a she because I can't prove it otherwise. His or her effect says that when you gain, he or she gains 1,000 attack. So this card can basically swing over just about any problem you have. Oh, I forgot to mention, my bad. Rosemary says that when you have more life points than your opponent, if a plant attacks, monster effects can't be activated until the end of the damage step. So that allows Bergamot to kind of deal with most types of monsters. And I run her at 1 because with the way the deck draws, you tend to see her in the searches. So you tend to see her eventually. Then 2 Jars. Jar, it can't be destroyed by battle, and you gain 500 life points on end phases. Of course, it's only when it's flipped up, so you can't just play it face-up attack mode and get a gain on your end phase. It has to be flipped up to get its effect. But at least it can't be destroyed by battle, so you can start getting some pluses in life points. And my one-of Cactus Bouncer. If you have another plant on your side of the field, he says your opponent can't special summon.
Is that misprinted? That's awesome.
Yes, his name is.
Oh, I can see like bouncer.
You can see the bouncer, but it's not there. It's invisible.
Oh, sorry. Anyway, my bad.
But
He's a good card.
Yeah, at this point, he's probably like the second best monster in the deck. Stat because he ties for second highest attack. He stops special summons, and if you open him and Jasmine in some way to gain life points, you can immediately get him on the field first turn, locking your opponent on special summons. And then you get to kind of laugh as your opponent tries to get over him. Spells. Most importantly, 3 Aroma Garden. Aroma Garden is a linchpin in the deck because you can gain 500 life points, and then your Aromage monsters, or Aroma monsters, gain 500 attack and defense. Not permanently. It's for the rest of until your opponent's turn. But even if it leaves the field, they keep their buffs, so it's pretty legit. You can if you use multiple of them, you can stack the effect on top of each other. And when an Aromage is destroyed, you gain 1,000 life points. So it helps you play that life point game. So you really do want to see it fast. It's kind of necessary at 3. You can't get around it. I run 2 chicken game because this is one of the few decks in the game where that 1,000 cost to draw is painless. Because a lot of times in good situations, you can go easily over 100,000. You can hit it. So 1,000 minus the draw, it's easy. It's easy money. And you're gonna want to draw a lot. Chicken game helps you do that. And you can even, if you're in a bad situation, chicken game can even help you take less damage. And if your opponent wants to get rid of it, they have to take damage just to deal with this card. And the deck that's all about life point gains and losses, it won't fail you. Triple Magic Planner, you will soon see that I run a lot of continuous traps. This helps keep cards not dead. And I draw 2 off of a card that was probably dead in the first place. I can't complain. It's never done me wrong. 3 pot, because if you probably guess, I don't special summon. So I lose nothing from playing this card. And in any deck doesn't special summon, play pot. It doesn't hurt you. Run 1 soul charge because if you can just get a bunch of them on the board and gain life points just once, it'll probably change the whole game for you because all those effects you end up plussing quite a bit. Soul charge can change games for you. As can Raigeki. This deck does not have a lot of removal, and if your opponent puts something on board that you can't deal with at the moment, Raigeki gives you that breathing room, because all you need is 1 turn in this deck, just 1, to gain the advantage you need to take the game. I run 1 copy of anti-magic arrows because while we can say no to monster effects while we're attacking, we can't say no to spell and traps. It's as a one of, it's not too bad. So you can even set it just as a bluff to your opponent. There's some little tricky plays you can make with it because it says your opponent cannot use spell or traps after this card's activated for the rest of their turn. So their main phase 2, they're locked out spells and traps. So if you're playing some really crazy mind game going and you're trying to predict moves, and if you're forcing them to make a play on main phase 2, they can potentially cut them off. It's a solid card. I had it at multiples, but I saw it a little too much. 1's been doing me fine. 1 Poison Old Man in a deck that's all about gaining and losing life points. It can be so clutch just be to activate this on your opponent's turn, get an effect, change the situation for you. And he gives you 1,200, which if you use this in chicken game, you still net 200. So at 200, in a game about gaining life points, that 200 means a lot. I mean, and also you can make your opponent lose some, but I rarely do that. I'd rather gain it. Continuous traps. We got Humid Winds. Now, Humid Winds is probably, out of any card outside Aroma Garden, that's the one you want to see every single game. Because it for 1,000 life points, you can search. And if you have less life points than your opponent, you can gain 500. And you can use that effect on your opponent's turn and your turn. So it's over. You can gain 1,000 in the course of 2 turns. That mitigates 1,000 this takes. And if you see, so the deck can pay out 1,000 life points to search. It can pay 1,000 life points to draw. And you're gaining that life point back. So it becomes free after a while. And when you don't need any more, Magic Planner. I run triple vanity. Yeah, fiendish. I run triple fiendish chain. A lot of people was like, "Oh, it's not so good this format." I don't care. It's a continuous trap, which, if nothing else, it can help you out for a turn. And when it's dead, you can draw off of it. This is one of the few decks where I say max out on fiendish chain. It can't hurt you. Run 2 Solemn Wishes. When you draw, you gain. The deck likes to draw and it likes to gain. You at least gain 500 turns, because you gotta draw for your turn anyway. So, and then it procs their effects. With the amount of life points you can draw by keeping this on the field for 3 turns, it gets dumb. And, you know, Magic Planner. 2 lose 1 turns. That's just a slow your opponent down. That's all. That's the name of the game. Slow them down. You don't want them making plays if you can help it. Dried Winds, only 1. Because while this is the only real way you can get any targeted removal in the deck. See, you can't do anything with this card if it's all you have. If you draw into 3 Dried Winds, you best hope you have Magic Planner to at least get rid of it, because it's not going to do you any good otherwise. But when you gain, it pops, and you can even do mass removal by paying large amounts of life points over 3,000, where you can remove any monster less than the amount of life points you pay. And it's non-targeting removal, which is always a great thing in the game. Well, with the second effect. The first tech definitely targets. First, yeah. And vanities. Because it's slow your opponent down, deck. Well, I guess you would call it...
Life points and slow your opponent down?
Yeah.
Troll them with continuous traps. The rest?
And then vanities. Well, the only thing that I would possibly change in this deck at this point is anti-spell fragrance. Because while you can slow down just about any deck in the game and take a game off them, pendulums, they are so fast, and if you don't deal with their scale afterwards, that's gonna bring it all back. You have to deal with them first turn. So I don't know what I move, but I will put 3 anti-spell fragrances in here and watch them cry when you flip it first turn.
That was such a fun profile. Mayhaps they want to follow Team APS. What are some of the places they could do such a thing?
Well, you know, we have the Team APS Facebook group, the Team APS Twitter.
We have a MySpace? No.
Say what we do.
We got lots of places.
But,
and aren't we giving away something special this month from a certain sponsor?
You don't have to lead me down, but we're giving away a box of Breakers of Shadow. I wish I were getting a box of Breakers of Shadow, but you lucky bastard. You guys guys can win a box of Breakers of Shadow.
And that's not all. Maybe they want to get a mat with your face and my face and some other people's faces on it.
You can order them online from our Facebook group, or is it going to be a link in the
description? There's a link somewhere.
There'll be a link in the description.
So.
Oh, and you can also order t-shirts.
Yeah. All right. So that was fun. Hi.
Video bomb!
Hi.
All right, cool.
All right, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like it and stuff. Final words on Aromages. What do you have to say for the viewers at home wanting to?
If you're playing local, if your locals does not play a lot of top tier decks, which I know is hard. It's hard to find a tournament without Pepe in it. If you're not playing against top tier, it's really valuable. I mean, it can crush a lot of decks. But in the state of the game. I wouldn't bring it to anything bigger than locals.
That's still cool. Hope you guys liked it. Subscribe, check out the description for all the junk, and thanks. It'll be great.
Team Apps out.